And let's get into it here. Coach Dewey, go ahead. Everybody in the Wolves of Naptown that may have been seeing this person for the first time, Coach Dewey, tell us about yourself, man.
Hey, what's going on, Naptown, man? As he said, I'm Coach Dewey, born and raised here in Indianapolis, East Side, 10th Street. If you know anything about it, it's not the best of areas.
Right.
So it takes a lot to overcome that area.
Mm-hmm.
And that was my goal, Unfortunately, I had a few minor setbacks, but that's okay because I had some people in my corner that didn't allow me to go back into that same environment. Mm-hmm. And they was like, listen, bro, I see something in you. I want you to do this. And so that's kind of where my calling come from, which is basketball coaching / training.
Okay. All right. So, and I'll put it to you like this. And now you got, Tony in the room here. Like, everybody was advocating, man, we got to get Coach Dewey on your show here. You got a good story, right? You got a good story pretty much on how you got to the point to where you're using basketball to help the youth. Man, go ahead, brother, man. Go ahead and run. I'm going to let you run on this.
Oh, man. Pretty much, man, it's in a nutshell, man. Like I said, I made a few bad decisions. I've been playing basketball since I was in the 5th grade.
Mm-hmm.
I graduated out of Kokomo High School. My mom moved me down there for a little while. Actually, I had a full scholarship to Duke. I was going to Duke.
I heard about that.
I had an older brother that passed away, though. And so I come back home to mourn his death or whatnot. Got mixed up in some wrong individuals that didn't want to man up for their situations.
Mm.
And, given the environment that when we was brought up, hey, don't snitch. And so that's what I was taught back then. Mm. I'm a different man now, but back then that's what I was taught. And so they gave me 26 years in prison for not telling on this other individual. And the judge looked right at me and ripped up my scholarship and everything. He said, where you going? You don't need it.
Man, that's cold. That's cold as hell. Man, I'm going to tell y'all something, man. Yeah, I know there's a code in the streets, man, but sometimes, man, hey, sometimes you got to make the right decision. If you're not the one who did something, man, sometimes you got to make that decision that, hey, man, your life, the life of your family is more important, to someone who probably should actually, do the time for whatever they was doing. That's just me. Like, I understand, it'd be hard for me to be like turning like my brother, and my wife or something like that. That'd be really too hard for me to do that, man. But sometimes, man, like you said, man, people got to take responsibilities. That's just me. That's just me.
Given though, like, again, given the things that we were taught back then,
Mm-hmm.
not saying that they were right, but
Right.
given the things that we were taught back then, I thought that, I was doing the right thing. And when I justify this to my children as like, listen, I'm looking at the bigger picture as, I go and tell on this individual, him, his people, whatever, they get upset. Now they come and retaliate and say they miss me and they hit one of y'all or they hit my mother or my wife or somebody else.
Mm.
Now I'm going to prison for the rest of my life anyway because I'm going to retaliate. So that's how I was looking at the bigger picture, and that's how I explained it to my children. Because my children was really hurt, like, Dad.
I can imagine so. Yeah.
You've been gone forever. We want you home, like. Mm-hmm. And I had to explain that to them, like, these are the decisions I had to make. Like, okay, go ahead, tell, snitch, whatever you want to call it. At this point in time, continue my life. Who knows? I could have been a millionaire. Could have been the NBA. Who knows at that time? Mm-hmm. Or right now, I got to think about what I'm going to have to face tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Man. And that's what I was looking at, what I'm going to have to face tomorrow, not 2 years from now. I'm looking at what I'm going to have to face tomorrow. And I was looking at the safety and the protection of my family and kids at that time.
It makes sense, man. That makes sense. We all got to make the decisions, man, that's best for our families and whatnot, But, like God always does, man, makes a way, when one door closes, another one opens, right? So now you're out. You have the foundation, man. Go ahead and talk about what you're doing with these kids, man.
First and foremost, man, I like to just say thank you to it. It's a guy named Scott Hall. He's a coach over at Purdue Polytech High School.
Okay.
I was hanging around a lot of games when I first came home, bro, and he was watching me. Nobody would give me, the chance. They like, bro, who is this guy? He just popped up. It was him, and then there was another fella named Dante. He runs the program Hoop Geeks. And they was
I
like,
heard of Hoop Geeks, yeah.
That's my big brother. Like, I love him to death. Like, any advice I need, I could call Hoop Geeks, and he gives it to me straight up. No ifs, ands, buts about it. And that's why I love both of them, because they the ones that gave me this opportunity. Because like I said, you got kids and the parents looking like, who is this guy? And then I'm not going to lie to nobody about who I am or where I come from. And so some parents don't like my story. They don't like where I come from, because they like, okay, this guy just come from prison. I don't want him around my children. And I understand that, you know, because some people don't know everybody. But these two individuals gave me that chance. And I deeply appreciate it, because, like I said, I didn't know where I was going.
Shout out. Man, and I like what you said, because sometimes it's like people have the wrong idea. It's like, okay, yeah, man, this person's from prison, you know what I'm saying, or my kid's safe or whatnot. But, I mean, I take it on the flip side. I mean, it's like, who better to tell somebody what to expect if they fuck up than somebody who was already in hell? You know what I mean?
And that's one thing I do not do is sugarcoat with none of the boys that I coach or train. I give it to them raw and uncut. Like when we had our community basketball tournament just a couple weeks ago, you know, we won that. But I had to explain to them because it was a minor situation. And so I like, hey, listen, fellas, that's not what y'all want to do. And they like, what you mean? I said, I'm going to give you a prime example. You go to jail, bro, in order for you to hug your mom or your brother or your sister or whatever the case may be, you have to get completely naked for another man and let him search your body before you can go in there and give your mom a hug. Do you want to do that? Then they get to talk about, oh, I ain't going to have no visits. I ain't going to have no visits. Okay, that's cool. You can deny all the visits you want. But when you first get there, you cannot deny that strip search. I don't care who you are. You can't deny that. And that is belittling as a man. Me as a man, I don't want no other man in my forbidden areas. And that's what I tell the kids, like, bro, y'all got to think about stuff like that. Like, do y'all want another man looking in your private part that's probably younger than you?
Man, that's important, man. That's what I'm saying, man. I think sometimes there's a stigma, you know what I'm saying, with people that, you know what I'm saying, just got out of prison, whatnot. And just kind of like, man, again, just like with anybody, man, you got to look and see what are they doing. I mean, it's a very clear. I mean, if they doing bad still, you know, they're gonna go right back in. But there's a lot of people that get out of prison, and when it finally sticks, it's like, okay, you know, I'm going to make this right. You know, I can't tell you how many people I know that have done that, been in there for years, and got out, and all they want to do is do good. All they want to do is make sure they can have whatever child that they can reach. Don't go down their same route. You know what I'm saying?
And that's why
probably somebody that you probably needed back in that day to kind of give you advice, you know, to go in and make a different path, make different decisions.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's good. I want to just go ahead and just clap it up for that, man. Okay, we're gonna clap it up for that, man. Because honestly, man, I mean that's just the greatest. I mean, I hope I'm saying the right word here. Reclamation story. You know what I mean? You know, to go ahead and reinvent yourself. You know, make yourself into somebody that is actually an asset to the community versus someone who's detrimental.
And that's weird. It's great that you say that, because just the other day, Friday, I go work out every morning at the YMCA, every morning. That's how I keep my mental clear. I love basketball. That's how I keep it clear. And so I about lost self-control Friday. And, like, I had to really, like, pull myself back together and tell myself, like, hold on. You got people looking up to you now. Like, so if I lose all self-control and go out and just crash out, as the kids would call it, they gonna think it's okay to crash out too. And so, and so that's where, like I said, and I had the same individuals. Like, I'm 40 years old, and the same individuals, like I say, Hoop Geeks and Team Indiana, I called them for advice. You know what I mean? So, like, Friday, I called Hoop Geeks and was like, hey, bro, I need somebody to talk to. He like, what's going on? I said, bro, I had an incident, bro. I feel like I'm losing control a little bit, and that's not what I want to do, because I don't want to go back to jail. So I want to make sure, you know what I mean, I'm on the right path, bro. I just need somebody to talk to. And before that brother even brushed his teeth, 6:30 in the morning, he hit my line right back. So that's why I said I love the gentleman that I got in my life. Like I say, even as far as Tony, when I had my blowout yesterday, he called me, bro, what's going on? I'm like, bro, I'm having a bad day, bro. I'm going home. I don't want to do nothing. He was like, bro, it's okay, bro. Just calm down. You good. We got you. And just having that support, bro, it helps. It really helps, because I ain't gonna lie, I felt like I didn't have nobody at times. It's been days I sat at home and I cried. since I've been home, I done lost $180,000 home because I put it all into these kids for basketball. Like a lot of people don't know that. But I bought my wife this home, 3-bedroom, three bath, 3-car garage, all of that, and I lost it because I put everything into these kids. I don't regret not 1 minute of it though. I don't. Like, me and my wife, we have our ups and downs, but I tell her, like, listen, this ain't just for them. This is for me as well. And so, like, everything I do with these kids, like, night and day. I probably only sleep a couple hours a day.
Now, do you think that there is a benefit to having that availability for the kids? Because it sounds like to me that if you'd had that influence of somebody being there when you were younger, you wouldn't have went through what you went through.
There's most definitely a benefit, because not having that, growing up the way I do, my bottle tends to fill up a lot. And I don't know how to talk to people. I'm just gonna be honest, like, I don't know how to get it out. Like, I've always been bottling it all in. So having that person that I can pick up now and call, other than my mom, like, cause I've never talked to nobody other than my mom. This is the first time I've ever even opened to anybody on y'all podcast.
Really?
Like, it's a lot of people that I deal with that don't even know my story, and I've been dealing with them for years.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how to open up to the world like that. But I want to change. I don't want to be this sheltered person no more, because
well, you here now, so yeah, that's what's
it's important to people hear you say that, man, because I mean, this mental health is, I mean, that's real, especially for black men. You know what I'm saying? It's always
black
good
people
to have somebody, you know what I'm saying,
people
that we can call, that we can talk to and chop it up. And I'll be saying, you don't necessarily have to have the answers. Sometimes, hey, man, just let me talk, let me run. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times, man, somebody will just go ahead and call me, and they just talk and they just go ahead. I don't have any answers, I don't have any advice, but I'm there on the phone. You know what I'm saying?
Good to get
it
out.
Like that, get it out. You know what I'm saying? If we need to link up, you know what I'm saying? If they just shoot the shit, man, get a drink or something or whatever, whatever it is. I think there's a lot more black men. Because we got this whole masculine thing, right? You know what I mean? It's just like, man, we can never reach out. We can never show weakness or whatever. And I think, it's good to go ahead and let some of that stuff out, man, so you can stay strong. Because at some point, man, you're going to crack. You're going to crack. And how it comes out, it could be sadness, could be tears, could be violence. Could be something else, right. You know what I mean? So definitely on the mental health side, man, it's good that you had somebody to reach out to. Now I want to ask you, man, because you're talking about, what I'm saying, you're helping kids and you're using it with basketball. Like, explain to me more about, like, how you're using basketball to help kids, man.
Because basketball also, it gives them a different way to channel their energy. Because like the kids I deal with, a lot of them, they angry. They angry. Some of them, they done lost mom. Some of them done lost their dad, whatever. They angry for whatever reason they may be. And so, me, like, I tell them, you mad? Okay, go out there and give somebody some buckets. Go out there and bust somebody's ass. Take it out on them out there if you mad. That's the only way you're going to be able to do it, because other than that, like, let me rephrase that, because now I keep 2 pair of boxing gloves in my car. I don't know if y'all seen that on my page or not, but I got some of my little ones on there. If they have a disagreement, like, I told them, hey, here y'all go. And so, like, I give them my boxing gloves sometimes. If they get upset, if they get too upset with each other, here y'all go.
It's old school for real.
You letting them? Okay.
Don't get out. As I said, so it's on my IG page, the next coach up. You'll see some of them little kids on there. And believe it or not, they have so much fun doing it. And afterwards, they're not even mad at each other no more. They're not even mad no more. Stuff.
I'll tell you what, it's better that, than go home and get a pistol, you know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm trying to get them out.
Yeah. I mean, that's another thing too, man. People don't fight anymore, you know what I mean? It's just kind of like, you just go ahead and you just grab the gun and you just go ahead and end it, you know what I'm saying? At least say, hey, you might get your ass whooped, you know what I'm saying, if you fight, but you may be able to live the next day, you know what I'm saying, and learn from it. You know what I mean?
So they think it's okay because you done shot somebody. Like, prime example, the kid Jaden Godfrey got killed. He went to Indy Mets about last month. He was one of my players. And they was all kids in that situation, from his baby mom to the other kid that did it, everything. And my point of view is like, okay, now y'all did that. Your life is through now. What? You done shot somebody at the age of 17. Judge just gave you 80 years, bro. So now what? Now what are you
Life is over. You know what I mean? Everybody that depend on you, you know what I'm saying?
You're going to be forgot about. And I'm telling you that from prime example. Like, even my own family, like, that I got the same blood with, you're going to be forgot about. I was forgot about for 16 years.
Yeah. That's what happens. Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah. I mean, at some point, maybe, what I'm saying, when you first go in, they visit you, man. But after a while, people, what I'm saying, they go on with their lives.
They definitely got lives to live. They don't, people ain't got 2-3 hours every, day to come down there and visit you, or they don't got the extra 40 feet, because life behind that wall is way more expensive than out here. Believe it or not. Because for one cheeseburger behind that wall, you might pay $10 for it. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it's way different.
Damn, you even getting cheeseburgers? Shit. Yeah.
It comes from, but you got to have loved ones that support you. If you don't got that, you eating off the steak, and you don't know what that food is. The box that the food actually says mechanically separated chicken, not for human consumption. That's what the box says. I work in the kitchen,
and they give that to you
That's
every day.
Crazy.
Damn.
Relentlessly every day.
Man. So I want to ask you, man, like, it's definitely a great thing that you're doing. You know what I mean? It's definitely a great thing that you're doing, that, taking what you love, which is basketball, something that you're very good at, and turning that into something that can help children. You know what I'm saying? If you have someone, one of your kids that are going through something, you know what I mean? Like, and they're going through something to where you feel like they may go hurt somebody, they may go harm someone, they may go down a path that maybe, the person that you took the rap for, maybe they're going down, like, what would you say to them? Like, how would you get that person to say, all right, man, we'll go a different route?
That's crazy you bring up a scenario like that, because my own son, actually, I got a 23-year-old son, and, like I said, I was gone for a while, so he thinks the streets is cool. And so, like, I tried talking to him. I've been trying talking to him. And so one thing I've learned, like, sometimes kids don't like to listen to their parents just because you're the parent. And so me, myself, in that situation, what I did is I called a neutral party that my child didn't even know, which happened in this situation, happened to be Tony. And I was like, hey, bro, check this out, bro. Look at this Instagram. Look what he doing. I was like, I don't even look at this because this is my child. Tony looked at it. About a day or two went by, Tony sent me this message. He said, hey, bro, this is what I sent to your son. Nice long paragraph, you know what I mean? And it wasn't nothing but inspiration. Nothing but inspiration. And it hit because my son called me back and asked me, like, hey, who is this dude? And I was like, bro, that's one of my guys. I told him to reach out to you. So what he said to my son, it hit. And I think that works, having a neutral party, because sometimes being the parent of the child, the child be like, oh, bro, you just my dad, or you just my mom. You don't know now. You an old head.
I agree with that. And I've said it in the past too, because I feel like it's always the people that say, oh, well, that ain't none of my responsibility. That ain't got nothing to do with me. And I'm like, it always has to do with you.
Right.
Like, anymore, do you say something when somebody's doing something wrong, even in the streets, grocery store, whatever? Nowadays, you can't really say something to somebody. Oh, you can't talk to my son like that. You can't talk to my daughter like that. And I get it. And one of the scenarios we talked about on the show, like, would you step in or whatever? Most of the time I do. I try to read the situation, but I do, because they'll get the message if it's not the parents.
Right.
And people think, oh, well, my mother raised me this way. A lot of times you think your mother raised you that way. You learned it somewhere else.
Right.
Don't know that you did. You could have learned it from a big brother or a cousin, or I seen Unc do it this way. But you realize that you think that your parents are teaching you something. They might have said the message, but you caught it from somewhere else.
Correct. Like, a lot of things, like, for me, myself, I didn't even catch it until I was about 33, all honestly. And I was sitting in my cell, and it hit me. Like, a lot of things just hit me, and I called my mom and my dad instantly. And I was like, hey, you remember when you used to tell me, I'm about to whoop your ass and it's going to hurt me more than it hurt you? I didn't understand that back then. I was like, but I understand now. And I was like, huh? I was like, all that hard head make a soft ass, all of that. It's like, everything you used to tell me, I was like, I hate that I'm 33 now and I'm just now realizing it and I ain't got nowhere to go. I was like, but I understand now. Thank you.
And that's just like when we have the kids that think it's cool to be out here doing whatever, street work, whatever, You've seen other people who you let influence your kid. they out here doing it because you didn't talk to your kids. You didn't say anything to them. That's why it makes a difference for you to say something. You start the conversation, and like you did, somebody else is going to back you up. Because when you sit in my chair, and I don't care how old you are, I'm going to ask you how old you are, whatever, and I bring something inspirational no matter what.
Right.
And because it makes a difference. Then you'll say, okay, well, where that child was messing up in school, whatever, and I said something to them getting their hair done, I don't know what they do after that, but I like to believe that it's something they thinking on a different, because it's me saying it.
Right.
And I have friends whose kids come and get their hair done. I'm constantly saying something to them because the parents may tell me what's going on, and then I'll say something, not directly, so that you'll know that they said something to me,
right.
but I'll be like, oh, do you do the dishes? Yeah, but she always trying to make us, so just saying something on it. If you don't do the dishes, then you're going to have a nasty house, So you have to have somebody always to step in and say something. I always step in if I can. Yeah. And I encourage people to do that because that's what we don't have. We had that back when we were young, but that's what we don't do now.
And so that's how I am with the ones that I have. Like if they parents be like, oh, he was acting up or she was acting up or whatever the case may be. Don't think you finna get in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Like
you gotta show them the consequences.
You finna go and run all practice. You're not finna pick that ball up. None of that at practice. You finna run and you're not playing in this game because you're not about to disrespect your mother, your father, no none of that. We don't play that.
And explain that to them why they're not playing because that's what they have to understand. This is exactly the consequence.
I tell them, I got one. Like, people really think he's my son. His name's Jameer. I love him to death. He's a little fourth grader. Mm-hmm. Yellow little kid. But, he comes up, he ain't have no leadership. Mm-hmm. And so now that he's with us, our basketball program, we all we got. That's our program. That's what we call it. We all we got. Mm-hmm. And so, we all we got. So, we take these boys, it's me and my brother Dan and my brother Brooks. And we take these boys everywhere, literally with us every day. Yesterday, we took them all to Washington Park. They took them, my brother Dan and Brooks, they took them all swimming. We try to show these young men who don't have these father figures, you can still be a leader.
That's what's up.
You can still be a leader without a father figure.
That's what's up.
Man, let's clap it up for that, man. For real, man. Let's clap it up.